This is the Bill Squire Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Bill Squire Show. Before I get to my first guest, OkPANTS, aka Aaron Seacrest, who is a lot of fun and it's a very, very good interview, and not even interview, segment. I call these segments. I'm not interviewing people. I just like to talk with people and have good conversations. But I wanted to address a comment that was on last episode, episode 10, powerful but short-winded. It comes from John MB731, and he said, "Since you're a big-time liberal, how do you stand with all the rioting and destruction of churches and government landmarks? Also, do you support having no cops and defunding police?" Yeah, I do support it. I do support the riots because I know what they're for. I know what they're meant to do. You can rebuild buildings. You can put statues back up. You can repair all that stuff. Human lives, though, don't come back. George Floyd's not coming back. Tamir Rice isn't coming back. All right, these are people that were killed for no reason. So until we get the reform that we need for the police, then I understand these riots. I don't understand the response to the riots, especially by people on the right that don't want the government controlling them and doing things. You see the, secret police out there kidnapping people, and all these Second Amendment guys are like, well, I mean, sometimes the government's doing the right thing. You're very choosy. You're very choosy about when the government's good and when the government's bad. And I'm confused by it. Defunding the police is a misleading term. It's not the best way to put it, but that's what's out there now. And if you do, a moment of research, you know what it means. You know it doesn't mean take all the money from the police. Abolish the police has to do with starting over. Putting in a police system that isn't violence-based, that is about de-escalating situations. Other countries all over the world have these type of police officers. There's a segment on Jim Jeffries' show where he goes to Amsterdam and he spends a night with a couple of police in Amsterdam, and it's so pleasant. There's a lot of things going on there, but the police don't go walking around like they have complete authority. But in America, we have a lot of police officers that act like it's their job to be judge, jury, and executioner, and that's not okay. I'm not on board with that. So I fully support defunding the police, which means, if you've taken any time to research the phrase, that they're going to take some of the money, which a lot of money goes to the police, and put it into other programs to help the community. To make the police's job easier, because they're being asked to do a lot of things that they shouldn't be asked to do. So if we put money into these other programs to help our community, it makes it that much better across the board. But then you don't get to fill up the prisons with people because they're for-profit prisons. Weird, right? Big-time liberal, Bill Squire. Proud of it, because you know how I got to become a big-time liberal? Church. I was raised religious, and I didn't agree with a lot of what I was taught because it was exclusionary. It was, we're better than these people. But it went against what Jesus Christ was teaching, what he taught, I'm holding on to. Those values that Jesus had, real good. Real big fan of Jesus Christ as a teacher, as a way of living your life, having love and compassion for other people. So I held on to those values and then stripped away all the stuff that didn't serve me. All the stuff that just meant that I was being controlled. Didn't work for me. So maybe you can do the same thing. Maybe you can live your life, because I'm guessing, John, you're a Christian and that you care about people and you want to see people taken care of. And you care more about people than you care about buildings. So hopefully you can do that. You can care more about people than you do about buildings or just, being on the right. The right versus the left. It's the biggest bunch of bullshit. It's good versus evil a lot of times. I don't walk around saying I'm a liberal. I'm a liberal. It's weird. It's weird when people speak to you like that. When they're like, oh, this is what you express, caring about people. Well, that makes you a liberal. I don't care about that. Good. Because that means that I tend to care more about people than things or money. So, do you do that, John? Do you care more about people than you do about things and money? Ask yourself that question. Do you look at black people and see what they're going through in this country and understand, or at least try to empathize with what they're going through, where every day they wake up thinking, could this be the day where I get shot by a police officer just because? And then there's no consequences? You might not even wake up. You might be like Breonna Taylor laying in bed and they break into your house and kill you. And then they go, we goofed that one up, guys. It's disgusting. Accountability for police. Reform the police system. Take some of that money, put it in other programs. Make America a better place to live. A safer place to live. All right. Hope I answered your question, John. Enjoy the rest of this episode. Right now, I'm talking with OkPANTS. I'm here with my buddy, Octavius Contavious Pants, a.k.a. Aaron Seacrest.
Hi, Bill. How's it going, my friend?
I'm good. My dog chilled out just in time, man. My dog chilled out just in time for us to start doing this podcast.
Oh, that's good. Thanks for using my birth name, by the way.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I appreciate it. You revealing it to me. I hope it's okay that I put it out on the podcast.
Yeah. This is a safe space.
Mm-hmm. Also, if you find the numeric value of each letter that we just started each sentence with, that's his social security number.
My social security number is 911.
Bam.
I was one of the first.
That's I don't believe you. So Pants is a buddy of mine. He's been on Flicks and Bill a bunch of times. He's a graphic designer, an artist, a real Renaissance man. He's recently went through a transformation with his body, which took him from kind of a chubby lovable to what I called him a hunk, and that led to a pretty fun situation that we kind of revealed it all on social media already, but it's still pretty fun to go through it for people who haven't checked it out yet.
That's very kind of you to say too, Bill. I don't I have to be with myself every day, so I don't know if I know the difference, but
you look great, man. You look absolutely great.
Thanks. So, like, do you want to run down the story here? Do we want to go and get into it?
Yeah, we'll go into it. So you posted a bathroom selfie where you were looking, real trim looking, and not just trim, but like broad shoulders. It was a good selfie.
I really did hit the angles. And so, Bill, you DM'd me and you said, Jesus, dude, you're a hunk. And of course, given your reach, I immediately screen grabbed that DM. And then I just reply, well, thanks, man. But I really got to credit my folks' bathroom lighting for the accentuations, if you will. Yeah. I was out of my parents' house. And then, so just anyways, so then you pressed me.
Well, because I said, well, if they're the ones that I should be thanking, I'm going to thank them.
Right. So you pressed me for their mailing address.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a joke for about 5 minutes until like the fourth or fifth time you asked me. And then finally I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I wanted to send them a letter. I want to give them the proper accolades. And I was just in a weird mood that day. That was the same day where I posted all those kind of trolling influencers on my timeline, whereas like,
oh yeah, you went left to center. You went rogue that day for sure.
Yeah, I was going through a weird day, but I just I don't know if that sometimes that's how creativity hits me. Like I can't remanufacture that kind of mania that I was in. Like I wish I could, because I thought that stuff was real funny and it was real fun. But I tried doing it again. I'm like, no, it's not there. It was just one of those things that happened that day.
I can relate to that.
So then I actually wrote a letter to your parents, typed it out. I should have signed it. I didn't actually sign it. I forget how letters work.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, please read it. Start from the top, because there's.
Oh yeah, because every single word of this is poured over. So sent from Bill Squire, 6200 Oak Tree Boulevard, Suite spelled SWEET 400 on the 22nd
I
day.
would say the 22nd.
22th, sorry. 22th. Forgive me. I'm not a writer.
Oh, July.
Oh, July, all caps, of the year that shan't be mentioned.
Mhm.
And it did not. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Pan, and also the address of my folks' house.
Yeah, I got that right.
Yeah, they're private people. So
Yeah.
we won't be giving that out on there.
Hey, don't dig into the. You were just chewing on a bone and being so good, Whoopsie.
Oh, boy. Whoopsie.
Now you got to find the loudest thing to try and dig into. All right, go ahead. She's part of the show. People get mad at me, but I don't care.
No, it's your show. Your rules, buddy.
Yeah.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Pants, your son, air quotes, okay, recently posted a photo in one of your bathrooms, parentheticals, I assume you have at least 6, and I complimented him on his physique, calling him a hunk. Being the humble man that he is, he thanked the lighting of your bathroom.
All right, hold on. Let me. God damn it, dog.
Oh, boy. Anyways, you can go to okpants.com for all your design needs. If all your follow me on Instagram /okpants. You can find me over on IG. I have a robust amount of selfies and inspirational content. Oh, hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
All right.
I didn't say shit while you were gone.
All right, that's fine. Did you hear me ranting?
No, I didn't hear anything. It was very. You were very civil and very. I didn't hear. I didn't even know.
I'm gonna leave it in if I can hear it. I mean, it's just me yelling at my dog.
So, being the humble man he is, he thanked the lighting of your bathroom for making him appear, quotes, hunky. And I wanted credit to go to the two of you for equipping said bathroom with such sensational lighting. Best regards, Bill Squire. Very sweet. And of course, because I have, I believe, ADHD, hours after you told me you were sending this letter, I forgot about it, of course, until my mother.
That's the ideal situation for it.
Oh, yeah.
For you to completely forget that it was happening, and then your mom to be like, what is this about? So it's all on my Instagram and your Instagram. You're at OkPANTS. I'm at Bill Squire if you want to see how it all unfolded. But I wanted to have you on this week because I think it's a shame that I haven't had you on yet. This is the 11th episode, and I haven't had you on yet.
Oh, I mean, you surely know 11 more influential and better guests than me, but thank you.
I am going to need you to lean a little more center, not politically, just physically, so that you can be in the shot. Yeah.
Sorry.
So, how are you? As I meant, you're like, what are we going to talk about today? And I was like, let's talk about school, because I got into it with Mary yesterday. Because I was a terrible student because I hated school, because I didn't connect with any of my teachers. Nobody tried, like, I didn't have one of those teachers like that's like, oh, I see your creativity and in your, you know, what you want to be and like your humor and all that, and like pull me under the wing. It was all like, hey, if you don't do this, you're gonna be a fucking loser. And I was like, well, you telling me that makes me want to do it less. So the way you're approaching this with me is making me want to do even less than I already was doing. So I just, because I was just really not into it. And so then I was talking with Mary on the Alan Cox show yesterday, and she was getting upset with me because I'm very proud of where I am now, because I didn't do any of I didn't jump through the fucking hoops they wanted me to jump through. I did it my own way. And so I take a lot of pride in that. And she's like, well, it sounds like you're very dismissive. I'm like, well, I am dismissive of it because they tell you have to do these things this way. And then when you do it another way, and she's like, well, you're the exception, not the rule. I'm like, I understand I'm the exception, but I feel exceptional being the exception because.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. You carved your own path.
Right. And it wasn't.
You went to public school, right?
Yeah.
Well, school in general, and I don't want to get on a whole jaunt about it, but it's designed to produce worker bees. You know, it's not designed for people that want to carve their own path, creators, creative types. And I was kind of spoiled with. I went to public school, and I displayed at a young age in a proclivity for art and ability. So I was kind of not given a pass, but I think people kind of teachers treated me with like, well, he's going to be all right. He'll like go, you know, design the next SpongeBob SquarePants and make billions. And so we don't have to worry about this guy knowing fucking algebra 2 or whatever.
How loud is the dog on? Because I hear her loud.
It's not nearly as loud as you're hearing it on my end.
Okay.
It's not disruptive, if that's what you're wondering.
That's what I am wondering, because to me it seems like it's quite loud. But we'll find out when I go through this audio. Sorry about that. Anyway, so you were gifted at art, and you kind of were able to kind of find that. Like for me, being a smart ass and not really in having ADD, just not really being able to focus on anything that they're teaching me, and also not wanting to do anything once I got out of school. I was very much, once school's over, I'm done with school. I'm not going to do homework. I'm not going to study. None of that stuff. That didn't seem like real life to me. It doesn't seem like when my dad was a bricklayer, when he got home from work, he wasn't laying brick, you know, like that's kind of how I looked at it. So I'm like, why should I have to, when I'm not at school, why should I have to continue doing things that they couldn't squeeze in at school? It seemed like the whole program was just to see if you could follow directions.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the high school and middle school in the middlest of the middle suburbs, you know, South Euclid and Lyndhurst. So like it was very much lined up like, you know, you can parse out the fuck ups from the, you know, the majority of the folks that are going to end up going to like state school or community college and you know.
Where'd you end up going to college?
I ended up going to Cleveland Institute of Art, and I knew kind of at a young age that if I was going to any college, if I was doing any higher education, it was going to be of the art school thing. Because I shut out like every plan B, C, D at a young age. I was like, I'm gonna fucking draw pictures for a living. I don't know how that's gonna work, but like
similar.
I want to take.
And I did it without an A plan at that time. I'm like, whatever I end up going into, I'm going to go all into that, because B and C aren't going to be an option. I don't want to. And I see college. No college. I barely graduated high school. Like the only reason I graduated high school is because my mom did a correspondence course for me that I was supposed to do. So I graduated in October of 2000.
Okay.
Because I graduated that deadline.
I graduated in 97. So but okay, so yeah, you managed to save yourself of tens of thousands of dollars of debt in a few years later.
And that's what I take pride in.
Yeah, you should.
Exactly what I like. And Mary likes the head pats of like talking about getting straight A's. I never got a test back and like had an A+ on it and felt like I accomplished anything. It was just one of those things where like if I got a test back and I had a good grade on it, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. But it didn't. Getting an A or an F, like, or a D or whatever it was, none of it affected me when it comes to my like day-to-day life. Like it was just like, this is for them, this is not for me.
Right. You had a bigger picture. I'm assuming you had a bigger picture view of where you wanted to go, and it didn't involve being good at fucking quizzes and tests.
Exactly. It was more. And I don't even know if it was a bigger picture. It might have been a really small picture, but it was just, I was very lost and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew that
wasn't part of it.
School was not a part of it. School was just holding me back from any sort of, and then anything that I wanted to study in school had a bunch of roadblocks in it. So we had like a video production program, which I was very interested in, but I couldn't get into it because my grades were bad. And I wasn't going to fucking deal with that, so I just bought my own stuff and started learning how to edit on my own stuff. And then like when I was gonna go to college, and I called it off because of all the bullshit around it. Like I wanted to go into like video production, learn how to do all that stuff, and they're like, well, you got to get all the caught up with all these math classes that you and science classes that you blew off when you were in high school. I'm like, well, then I'm not going to do it. So if you want to go that direction, then that's fine. But I'm not going to waste my time in these classes that have no application for my day-to-day life just because you need to fill rooms and get tuition money for those teachers. It just did not work with me.
With film especially, and I don't knock people that went to film school or acting school or whatever, if you truly wanted to do that or want to do that, you'll find a way outside of that institution. I just really like, you know, there's no rule. We went to school around a time before everything got flipped on its head in terms of how shit worked. And
yeah,
it went from being a very specific channel your pathway to success in that industry to now it's like can sit here on my fucking phone and build.
do, yeah. I mean, I edit all this stuff and do everything on an iPad, and I learned all this stuff pretty much myself. I did go to the recording workshop and learned how to do some sound engineering, so I know about like signal flow or anything like that. But I don't have an ear for music. I don't have that sound engineer gene where you can hear stuff and you be like, oh, this tone's better, it sounds better this way. That's not who I am. So but I'm glad that I know how to work the equipment, because I do a lot.
Well, I got good news for you, Bill. Somebody that worked in the music industry, there's a lot of super massively successful people that also don't have an ear for music. So,
well, then I could have gone for that, and then yeah,
gosh, you could be on. Well, no one's touring right now, but it just, it doesn't. This is gonna sound weird. People let the fear of being bad or good at something get in the way of actually being successful at it in a way that
absolutely
doesn't matter. I'm preaching to the choir on that, but like that was like my thing was like I learned at a young age. I think the one thing that put me ahead of anybody was like, I'm not afraid to try this, and I'm not afraid to suck at it because I don't think I'll be the worst at it. But if I'm bad at it, I'll fucking try something else or I'll try it again. And I think that is the only constant that carried over from like a pre-internet world to a current day social media world.
It's just that ability to try and put it out there and not be afraid to fail. And
when you realize no one fucking remembers anything anyways and nothing matters, especially in 2020, it's like, what's the risk? What's the
with you?
What's the stakes to it, really?
Well, and a lot of it just comes down to, I think when people are afraid to start something and are afraid to try, is they're really afraid of the work, because they realize that if they're not good at it right away, then they're going to have to practice and get better. And that's overwhelming to a lot of people, because there's definitely things like that I've been overwhelmed with, because there's, as much as I have done, there's a lot that I haven't done that I've wanted to do.
Sure. I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm 40 years old and there's still things I want to pivot. I hate that word, but things I want to pivot to and try that aren't really related to visual art and illustration and stuff. But the work, I think, is one thing that paralyzes people as a non-starter. And then I think just, people's opinions and putting yourself out there with the actual thing scares the shit out of a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that is very devastating when you put something out and people don't react to it. Like, I'd rather someone hate it than not react to it.
Well, yeah,
that hurts.
You understand the ultimate, the worst case scenario, which is just silence. That was silent. That was the crux of me trying open mics, because it felt like I was like, there's no stakes to trying to be funny on Twitter or Facebook. There's a giant safety net there. You can delete stuff. You can fucking move on with your life. But I was like, what's it? I got to put myself in front of people and see how this resonates with complete strangers. And that to me was like, because I'm not a fighter guy. So it's like, I analogize it to when the dudes at the bar are sizing up another dude and they're like, I bet I could fuck that dude up. Like, that was what I thought of, like, with stand-up comedy. Like, I was like, this is one way to sort of test my mettle.
And that's, talking about pivoting and trying new avenues. One thing that I'm coming to terms with because of the pandemic is that I tied so much of who I am and how funny I am to performing on stage that I would hold a lot back and keep it for the stage. And now that that's not really a thing that I can do consistently right now, it's kind of been a wake-up call to me, like, okay, just be funny. Nobody cares how you're funny if you're funny. Just like if you like being funny, go be funny. Fuckface.
Everywhere, like nothing matters right now.
Yes, exactly. So that's why I started this podcast, and that's why because I love doing the Alan Cox Show. We have so much fun on there, but I like I like the podcast format where you can get a little deep, you can get a little silly, you can get a little over the top. And when it comes to things that like you feel like you started in you were talking about stand-up comedy, giving that a try. I definitely went that way because I tried to be a musician, and all I was good at while I was doing music was riffing on stage, like doing the stage banter. And that's like I was terrible. Like oh man, talk about a cringe moment in your life where you like, even 20 years later, I'll think about this moment and get uncomfortable. We were playing a show at the Euro Gyro, and there was like 7 or 8 people there. It wasn't busy. It was, you know, we were an opening band for a band that wasn't even really that good of a band either. So it was just like, but it was one of those things where they're like, hey, get here at 7 o'clock. You can play at 8. And then the real show starts at 9 or whatever. And if you bring 10 people, we'll give you $50 or something. And so we got paid for it, which was wild to me. But I was always the guy that was trying to like bring energy, but I didn't have that coolness that people in bands can have, where they can bring energy through like some sort of, I don't know, just being like a little bit suave and a little bit energetic or whatever it is.
You were a comedian trying to be a musician.
Yes. And self-aware wasn't really in my vocabulary yet. And so I was just trying to be the guy. Like I wasn't being funny at this show. I was just trying to have enough energy to get everybody else into it. And I was headbanging while I was playing so hard, so fast, but also violently and not with rhythm. And it was just so uncomfortable. I have the video somewhere. I feel like I can find it.
What kind of band was it?
It's just a pop punk band. I mean, we were doing basically like Blink 182 type crap. And I'm just like, just jamming out so hard. And the rest of the band's just standing still playing. And it was so goddamn uncomfortable when I went back and watched that video. And I was like, oh boy, what are you doing?
Dude, I don't, you know, I did my time in bands too. And that was also, my trajectory was similar, where I loved being in bands. I loved playing live, but I would get to a point where I relished the moments between songs way more than the actual songs. Cause then I could just, you know, I was a front man. I have no musical ability whatsoever. And I could just say whatever the fuck I wanted. Like, it was like comedy hour until like the band got tired of hearing me and they just started playing the next song. You know, they would just basically play me off.
Yeah, that's kind of where I would thrive, is I thrive in those moments in between. And then I'd also, you know, we'd do a lot of cover songs and I would just start ripping lyrics of like kind of roasting the people in the audience and just kind of having fun with that. And so that's
fun. That was always the fun of it to me.
Yeah.
Even so, like I didn't know what crowd work was, but I was doing it when I was like 21 years old in a stupid hardcore band.
Yeah. And so I remember everybody else, like these other kids in this, they were a little bit younger than us. So like we were doing like the fun, goofy thing, trying to be more like Blink 182. But then there was like the White Stripes and the Strokes were coming out at that time. And so they were like more trying to get this new sound. And they were also very emotional, because it was also at like the forefront of the emo thing happening. So
you got a lot of white belt wearing folks.
Yeah, for sure. But it was also like these people like singing and crying while they're singing, because it's like, you know, Dashboard Confessional was also around that time. And it was very weird to see like that connect with people, and it be so foreign to me to be like, what feeling feelings? That's what you're here to do? No, we laugh when we feel feelings. That's what we do. If you get a feeling, you find a way to make it funny, so then you don't have to really process it.
Well, also a lot of those bands were like, I'm 27 years old and I'm really into 19-year-old girls, and I figured out if I can pretend cry, a lot of those girls will come to my shows. That's also a major component of the emo music in the early 2000s.
Very true. And I always kind of saw through that, and I didn't even know if that's what I was saying, but like I just felt like these guys were real weird. Like I didn't really dig the emo scene the way that I mean, I was also a little too old for it when it really started to go off. So it wasn't really...
I mean, you were kind of right there, because I'm a few years older than you, and when that, along with like emo hardcore and like Warped Tour, Warped Tour music kind of became its own genre. That was kind of the groundwork for all that stuff. But
I guess, you're right. I probably was the right age for it, but I was just more tuned into, like, I was more of a No Effects, MXPX, Lagwagon.
So you're like the original ground Patient Zero Warped Tour bands.
Yeah, I was more into that. So when the new ones were showing up, like it kind of ended for me with Sum 41 blew up. So like they were like my band, and then everybody knew about them. And like it's not like I was unhappy for them, but it's just one of those things where I was just like, well, this is weird. Like it was weird to see like all these people like get into this band that was like so important to me, and then all of a sudden because they're on MTV, like all these people are like, oh, I love that. I mean, I did the exact same thing with Blink-182, so it's not like I can blame them, but it was just it was just a weird time. But I did go to a lot of Warped Tour.
I used to shit on that kind of behavior, but it's a hard swallow when something that was yours that you sort of got in on the ground floor with became something for everybody. As much as I don't like being a snob, there were certain bands where I was like, man, I got to share this with everybody now. Like, you know, but that's like,
well, I
feel like there's not that relationship with music anymore now that everything streams and everything's just fucking weird.
Well, and it's just so fragmented now, because with music now you can have this anytime one of these rappers dies, and I'm like, who is this? And then I go and look and see that they had 20 million followers on Instagram and like, you know, platinum streaming albums and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just very disconnected from everything that's happening with music. So it's not like I'm going to shit on this person because he was very important to a lot of people, and that's a bummer. Whereas a lot of people are like, oh, who fucking cares? I do have a lot of problems with Lil Peep just because of my daughter's love of him. So my one daughter loves Lil Peep so much, and everything that I can see is that he was just, you know, an addict, and she tries to put him up on this pedestal. I'm like, hey, you know, there's a lot of people that are doing really good things music wise, and they aren't hiding behind an addiction.
I mean, okay, fair, but like Kurt Cobain was like the first major celebrity death of my lifetime that like hit me, smashed my heart, and he was a heroin addict, and not far from a great person beyond being an insanely talented musician from what we've learned.
Right. And that's kind of what, but she, and I don't have a problem with the musicians as much as I have a problem of her idolizing them because she loves Kurt Cobain too. And so I'm like, why don't you, like, Dave Grohl's pretty fucking cool, and he's alive. And so I
just like having a beer every now and then. That's about it. What's wrong with him?
Yeah. And so but that's always kind of who I was too, where like when Kurt Cobain killed himself and I saw everybody getting the Nirvana gear and seeing like overnight everybody in 7th grade becoming a huge fan of grunge. And I was like, wait a second, I was already listening to this stuff and now you guys all love it. And then that made me like pull back. And then when the Foo Fighters came out, I'm like, now that I like, because they rock, but they don't take themselves too seriously. And it seems like a lot more fun.
It kind of amazes me how the Foo Fighters became like a Mount Rushmore rock band of their time, because I like the Foo Fighters, and I'm not saying this to diminish them. So much of their music is so inoffensive and geared for radio and stuff that it came along at a time when, you know, 9 Inch Nails and all that angsty, super angsty shit was like the status quo. So it's cool to see. I like I said, I don't mean to flag on the Foo Fighters. I'm just kind
of you're kind of right, because they could have if they didn't have the Nirvana cred, then they would be looked at like Nickelback.
Possibly. I see your point, but I don't. Dave Grohl is so fucking talented. Like, that dude's so talented. Nirvana was his warm-up band. Like think about that. Like,
but that's also the thing. Like, Chad Kroeger is pretty fucking talented too, with all the songwriting that he's done. He puts out hits. It may not be our cup of tea, but it's, you know, he's written hits for other people too, and he's got. I'm not saying he's as talented as Dave Grohl, but I'm saying
really, if you the guy can write music and play music. I'm not.
If you take Chad Kroeger and put him in a band like that had a lot of cred, and then Nickelback's his second band, how would we look at them? Like if he was in Nirvana and then Nickelback came out.
Fair appraisal. Like if he played in fucking Soundgarden or something and then
graduated. There you go.
I don't know.
Or Alice in Chains or something. Yeah.
There's like the contrarian in me too that just gets so bored of the hack comedy of people making fun of Nickelback, where I'm like, can you just let them? You don't got to listen to them. I don't know who the fuck listens to this band, but You
That's
don't gotta
anything.
be one. Like, it's let them be.
That's anything for me right now is when people just shit on something to shit on it. And I'll have my moments, but it's one of those things where people get all riled up and shit on things. And I'm like, there's so much stuff. There's so much stuff. Even if you were like, oh, they play the song on the radio all the time, there's a billion radio stations. You can avoid anything you want
There has
if
never
you
been
want to
a
avoid it.
period. There's never been a period in human history that you can access any kind of content musically as quickly and as vastly as you
Mhm.
can right now. No, I no offense to your employer. Forget about radio. Let's go streaming. Like, let's just go. You can store music on your phone if you want to. Which
Listen, they know that because that's why they have the iHeartRadio app. That's where they're like, hey, you don't like this? Go listen to the app and listen to whatever the fuck you want. Just use our device.
yeah, man, it's and I think maybe because, and this is why I'm thankful to be born when I was born, because I remember when you had to hunt down a CD or a record and you had to go find it, or you had to go, sift through your favorite band's influences and then do the archaeology of finding those albums, and you had to go to stores and you had to save up 20-30 bucks to to buy a couple albums. So like whenever I open Spotify within seconds, I kind of remember to not take it for granted and stuff.
Yeah, it's very important. And like one of the things that I find very funny right now is, there's the people that were all about vinyl, and there's the people that had their CD collections. And now there's this nostalgia for the original iPod era where they're like, man, nothing was better than this.
It's
Where you
become
had,
8-track of the
yeah,
the Zoomer generation.
yeah, where they're looking back and they're like, man, I had so many songs on this thing and I liked it so much. And there's still the people that are hanging on to it. They're like, I still use my iPod, man. It kicks ass. I bought a bunch.
Do you ever see somebody actually still using an iPod in public?
I haven't seen it in a long time. It's
Yeah,
all
I see it sometimes in the gym and it blows. Like, I don't judge it, but I'm like, that's wild to me.
yeah.
It's fucking crazy. But
Well, like I know certain people are like complete audiophiles where they want to listen to it like where each song's like a gigabyte because they have like a FLAC file that's like high quality.
Mhm.
And so I can understand it in that situation where you have one of those terabyte uh iPods that came out and you want to be able to keep everything in like high quality. So I get that, but it's also now they have that high quality streaming on Spotify and Amazon Music and stuff like that too. So
I recorded in studios. Like, I understand that you should want to listen to the very best possible thing, but I don't like
Mhm.
I just like I listened to so much objectively awful music in my teens and early like adult years, probably maybe still do, but like to me it's always been a feeling related thing. Like, it's always been like, stick the thing in my arm. I want to fucking feel it, and then
Yeah.
I want to run it into the ground until the next thing.
See,
So
I've gotten to a place where I'm really just the vibe is what I'm about when it comes to music. So I have a bunch of records. I have a pretty decent record collection. But what I want to put on is something that's just going to get my head bopping and then kind of be on in the background. And if I can sing along to a few songs, that's great. But otherwise, I just want it to be just kind of the ambiance in the room with me as I'm doing other things, or I'm dancing around a little bit, kind of, basically cleaning house music.
that's a great point, because when I work, I need background music. So to me, it's almost like two separate things. If I'm like working, I'm either listening to like podcasts or like very backgroundy stuff that's not
Mhm.
demanding a lot of my like hard drive space in my head.
Yeah.
Then if I'm driving, then I want to fucking hear the feelings music and stuff.
Okay.
But also, aside, have you had, for the last 4 months ish, I've had the Avengers Portals scene music on loop in my head 24 hours a day. Just
Oh, really?
going background the whole fucking time. And I don't like, it has become, it's just printed in there and it's not leaving. And I don't know if that's if I'm the only person like that, but it's been that way for as long as this fucking COVID thing's been going on.
That's crazy. That one hasn't gotten in my head, but I definitely get songs that will loop in my head. But it's more like on like a week to 2 week basis. So I was really into the JG Wentworth commercial for a while, where I would just walk around singing I have a structured settlement and I need cash now. And so like, and partially because that's like the one song that I'm able to sing with any tone. Like
I never let tone get in the way of me trying to sing some shit, man.
no, I don't let it get in the way, but that's the one where I'm like, I actually can kind of do this one. Where there's a lot of other stuff that doesn't really hit like that, but I definitely get stuff stuck in my head like that, but not the Avengers Portal scene. But I bet if you went on Reddit and said like, "Hey, has anybody else had this stuck in their head for the last 4 months?" You're gonna find a support group there.
Reddit is the one place I will not participate in because every once in a while I'll drop some content in there and get the fuck out of there. Like I just threw a grenade because I don't want to.
You don't want to see the results.
No,
I get that. I mean, I had a big moment on Reddit for a while. Like when they first started doing stand-up shots, I was getting like the front page of Reddit like every other week.
Yeah, you were working that pretty hard, right?
Yeah, it was going well, but then man, it definitely brought out some evil people. Like where people just are terrible.
Okay, but like that's kind of the same thing that drew me to doing actual stand-up comedy, where it's like, you know, for the most part, I get overwhelming support on my social media channels because I'm posting it there, and it's people are nice, and there's something to posting in a room full of strangers or jackals to see what the temperature is in there. And I've learned to not listen and to all feedback. It's important to parse out who's
yeah. There's actual constructive criticism, and then there's people that are just trying to hurt feelings, and that's one of those things. And sometimes the constructive criticism comes at you in a hurtful way, but then they are right, and it's important to be aware of that.
I have my own network of people and peers that like I'll share work with privately to get their feedback. Yeah. And I'm not saying that people aren't entitled to share their opinions on stuff, but it doesn't really enter.
I'm saying, yeah, they aren't. I don't think we need it anymore. I think you can get rid of the comments section on pretty much everything and we'll be okay.
I think we're very close to an age where that stuff's just going to be seen as a thing of the past. I really do.
Well, and it's one of the things that ended up driving social media was the engagement that, you know, you'd get. So if you're getting comments, it didn't matter if they're negative or positive. It would just
the conversation.
The conversation would increase the visibility in the algorithm, and then it put terrible things out there or show people that, hey, if I just go in and scream loud enough, then it's going to get people's attention and I'm going to get what I want. And that's not necessarily the way things should go.
I like adopted like a mantra, and I'm sure I stole it from some fucking motivational speaker, or maybe I made it up, but my thing is you're entitled to your opinion, not my attention. So it's like, say whatever you want, like get as mad as you want about my work, or you could hate it, debate it. I welcome it. Like art is designed to create a conversation, of course.
Speaking of your work and your design and things that people love and hate, let's talk about the buzzards and your proposed rebrand of the Indians.
Yeah, that got a whole second wind I didn't expect to see coming. So the short story of it is last year around this time, I took a couple weeks off of my client work, and I had an idea to change the Cleveland Indians brand over to the Cleveland Buzzards brand. The idea being, if we're still at this sticking point with Chief Wahoo worshippers that want to cling to a tradition and they don't want to lose a tradition, why not swap Wahoo out with another iconic mascot, which is the WMMS Buzzard, right? So if your argument is you can't just ruin my tradition and ruin this thing that's been a part of my life, well, here's this thing that's been a part of your life, and now it becomes a part of your life in a maybe more meaningful way through your baseball team. So I designed a set of uniforms, mock-ups. I designed the whole branding set centered around David Helton's original WMS Buzzard art, which he gave me his blessing to use. It made the rounds on social media, did pretty well. You know, some people obviously were mad about it, which is part and parcel.
It's going to happen.
But it was really well received, and then that went away because it's social media and everything lasts for about maybe 48 hours at best. So fast forward to a few weeks ago, I'm out in the middle of the mountains recharging, like not working, just fucking getting away from stuff. So, which basically means I'm just sitting in the middle of the mountains scrolling through my phone like an asshole, not detaching from anything. And I start getting like DMs and texts from people like, hey, like your like post for the Buzzards has picked up a lot of wind. And I go, well, why? And then I, go to Twitter and it's like Cleveland Indians announced they are now exploring changing the name. And I go, oh shit. I go, I can't believe I was a year ahead of this whole thing. And then it got a ton of shares, a ton of engagement. And
I definitely shared it again.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
As soon as I saw them post that, I went and found your post, and I think I retweeted it or shared one of the photos or something. I was like, hey, yeah, this isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's anyone's guess as to where it goes from here, if it goes anywhere. But I can say definitively, I normally am not cocky about my ideas. It's the best idea I've had for like anything. And I don't look at it competitively to the other concepts, but I think it's markedly better and more well thought out than anything else.
I love it. I think it would be fantastic.
I know I'm a loud idiot and I know like I can pound my chest, but when this idea stormed into my head, I was like, I'll gladly spend 2 weeks of time and money out of my pocket to put this shit together, because that's how strongly I felt about it. So I've not heard anything from any team representatives or anything, but the momentum and the sort of groundswell of it was cool enough that it grabbed.
They definitely saw it. Like, that's for sure. Like, they know about it.
Well, Cleveland's not that big.
Yeah, I imagine they saw it. And when people want to hang on to the Indians and Chief Wahoo and all that stuff, I don't even argue with them anymore. I'm like, well, it's over. It's done. They're gonna get rid of it. It's needs to change. It's like long overdue. But also, then you look at the other teams that have some cool branding and a lot of stuff. Like I picked up a B and a C team this year, the Rockies and the Tampa Bay Rays. And
okay, so the Rockies is your B team?
Yeah, Rockies are my B team. I got this hat, and
that hat looks so fucking good. That's not the official team hat, is it? Like,
it's not the official team hat, but this is the hat that when I saw it, I'm like, that's the fucking hat I'm getting, because they have the CR, which every baseball team tries to do, like the Yankees thing
or the Dodgers thing. Yeah,
and it works really well with the Dodgers. I love the Dodgers. The Yankees is iconic. I get that. But like when they're trying to do it with like the Colorado Rockies, I'm like, yeah, you guys have a cooler thing. Like, this is way cooler than the C and the R.
I would I'm not a ball cap guy, but I would wear that cap, especially because purple's my second favorite color to black.
Yeah.
But it looks great. Yeah. I remember when the Rockies became a team in 95, 94 or something.
Yeah, around then.
I got a Colorado Rockies hat because I just thought, you get drunk on the new, and I'm like, oh, it's got silver and purple. I was like, this looks fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's great colors. I would play like that's the team when I had Ken Griffey baseball, like that when that video game was out for the N64. I would play as the Rockies because you could just mash homers in their stadium. Because
so what's the reasoning behind these being your B and C teams?
So the Rockies was basically the purple. I was like, okay, I like the purple. And also I wanted to go with teams that are kind of like forgotten teams. Like, you're not going to get accused of being a front runner if you're a Rockies and Rays fan.
Okay. So
like, I could have easily been like, oh, I'm going to take the Red Sox and the Dodgers, but that's fucking cop out.
Is this a strictly branding driven decision to root for these teams?
No, I mean, it's pretty close to that, but like the Rays, I don't like their branding as much. It was just with the Rays, it was more like they could use the help. They could use everything they can get, because
like your friends, like struggling local band where you're like, I need to get behind this.
But they're actually playing really well so far this year. So it's been kind of fun to follow both these teams and the Tribe and see how everything, how everything's playing out.
And that's like, as a kid, I would do the same thing where like the Indians were so woefully terrible when I was a kid, so I'd adopt other teams based on their logos, and the Blue Jays were like my number one.
Oh yeah. Well, that's Alan's team. So he went because he kind of started it because he has his White Sox, then he's got the Indians as a B team, and he was talking about Toronto as his C team because he likes the city of Toronto and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, well, I'll take a B and a C team, and Mary took a B and a C team, and now we're doing like a little like running bet whenever our teams play each other. It's $5 on the line, so it's been pretty fun so far. And then, it's just one of those things where I want sports to be fun. I don't want sports to be a bummer all the time. So it's like with the NBA bubble coming back, and I'm so pumped for the NBA bubble because I think it's going to be really, really good on and off the court, where we're going to get some great basketball. There's no home court advantage either way. So it's just these guys locked in playing their best basketball. You're going to see who becomes like who is distracted a lot outside because they're like, now they're in this bubble. They like, all I can do is go out and win. And so I'm going to go out and win. Like, I think a guy like Russell Westbrook is going to thrive in a situation like this because he's already pretty intense. And when you take away any other distraction, not that I would say he's a very distracted player, but I think just getting to a point where he's got nothing to do but go and win basketball games every day, he's going to just blow people away this season.
Well, it's like if you're locking them in like a fire festival situation and there's no clubs to go to and there's no restaurants or cities to really walk through during the day, like you're just like a fucking MMA fighter locked in your locker room, like waiting to fucking get loose and shit. So it's the NBA gets it right more than any other sports organization because they fucking listen. Because they were like, it's honestly like teams that play like NBA Live just run the league where they're just like, all right, so what should we do? And they're like, I don't know, like the West is way better than the East, so let's just do 13 teams from the West and 9 from the East, and then all together like in Disney World. And I don't know, fuck it, like let's build a bunch of courts in the same fucking complex. Let's go.
Yeah, and they'll do it, and they're testing everything, and it's working so far.
It seems the most sustainable of any of the ideas I've heard.
It is, and also the behind the scenes stuff that's going to happen we're not going to know about that for years. Like we're going to need like a book is going to come out about how these guys were blowing off steam.
Oh yeah.
In the bubble.
Well, there's already and I'm taking this with less than a grain of salt, but there's already girls on Twitter saying like, I already got texted to come to the bubble. They're like, the season ain't going to last very long. So who knows? And, but yeah, I want to.
But just hey, if you're an NBA player and you're listening to this, which most of you are, let's get those girls tested. Make sure that they're tested, and not just for coronavirus.
But I go back to the point where you said you watch sports to have fun and you don't like being bummed out, and I agree with that. Like I like to be entertained and I like to get my mind taken off things. But I also think about the heartache I've been through in my life and the adversity I've been through, and I have to go back to this sort of grounding thought where I'm like, I was raised a Cleveland Browns fan in the middle to late 80s. There's nothing you can do to me that hasn't already fucking flattened my heart and bottomed me out.
Well, and that's the thing too about like being a fan of sports. When you have that kind of heartache, it hurts a lot, but it's also kind of this palatable heartache because it's so definite about what it is. So like when you're going through a breakup or you're going through like kind of an existential crisis about your career or something like that, that is multifaceted and it's very, very deep, and you're struggling in so many different ways. But when your team loses, it's because they lost. That's what makes you upset. And so it's very easy to focus that sadness and that anger on the pure fact that they lost. And it simplifies those emotions. And that is part of what I like about sports is because the good and the bad are tied together. And then you also see people that are happy that your team lost. And you're like, well, that fucking sucks. So I'm sad and they're happy, but it's a very binary.
I don't know. Our teams have been so bad for so long. I don't know if anybody feels good anymore when we lose. They're like, yeah, well, that's another.
Or they're sympathetic, but it's still, I feel like it's pretty binary equation when it comes to sports and feeling a certain way. Just talking about the games, the wins and losses. I'm not talking about the way people are treated in the collective bargaining agreement, all that stuff. I'm just talking feeling good and bad about a situation. I feel good they won. I feel bad they lost.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I just thought that was what every city went through because I watched those Browns championship games end in the most crushingly, impossibly heartbreaking fashions. And I just go, Was this I mean, this just happens to everybody, right? Like it's like it's no big deal. Like
it's unique to us.
Wait, this doesn't happen everywhere? Like
When I was young enough that like I knew that the Browns were good, and I was confused by the idea that like they had like people had that kind of Charlie Brown gray cloud over like storm cloud over them, where they're like, yeah, they're good, but they're gonna blow it in the playoffs. And I was just like, but they might not. They might do good. They might win this time. And then they kept,
I was PM for a while, like about that, where I'm like, I go, you gotta believe, man. You gotta believe. And then I got divorced, and I was like, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
So it's just fun. Like there's beers here. Let's fucking
relax and have a good time.
Out of our control, like I can't go on the field and do shit about it. And then I remember all the jocks that would call me the other F word in high school. And
yeah, of course.
I don't fucking care about this. I can go draw a picture.
I definitely took a hiatus from sports in like my later high school and like early 20s, where I wasn't paying that much attention. And then basketball brought me back. When LeBron showed up, I was in the Philippines for 2 years, and so I really got disconnected from everything. But when I got back from the Philippines, I was all in on the NBA and just paying attention to everything. And I have NBA League Pass. I'm so in on this bubble.
If you were under the age of 40 in 2003, there's no way you were not a Cavaliers fan when that dude became a Cavalier. It was impossible.
It was very exciting, and he got us one. So I cherish that season. Oh, it's one of the best things.
I mean, I said it literally the minute he won. I was fucking pouring beer all over myself out in fucking Ontario or whatever after the watch party game 7. I go, he can go wherever the fuck he wants. I was like, he can fucking he can retire. I was like, I might never see this again in my entire life. I can't believe I saw it once.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel. And also, the people that hold grudges against the athletes over leaving. Sorry, I've got like so like I was pissed when Kyrie left. I was very, very upset with Kyrie leaving, and I trashed him multiple times on the radio. But when it comes down to it, I love watching that dude play basketball. He is one of the most exciting players to watch. And then on top of that, he's a pretty good dude. Like he's doing a lot of charity right now. He's trying to bring awareness to certain things. He's helping out WNBA players. He's doing solid things for his community. And so when people are like, oh, they're dead to me, or like, I'll never forgive them for that, I will absolutely forgive him, because it's his life and it's his career, and he's allowed to do what he wants with it. And also I just like watching him play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm adjacent enough to the entertainment industry and to people that entertain for a living to be like, people, athletes, entertainers, comedians, musicians don't owe you a fucking thing beyond their best possible effort when they're at work,
Right.
And
you gotta just dope shoes.
Oh, is that the Kyrie's?
This is the one pair that I have. I got another pair on the way.
I got a pair of the Kyrie one, the All-Star ones, and that was like my last pair of expensive sneakers I bought before I just solely became like a Vans guy. But every subsequent iteration of the Kyries, and I'm not trying to trash them, but they just feel like there's not a radical reinvention of that model, like from off the first one. Which
I agree, but it's also I
don't know if it's a good or bad thing. LeBron's sneakers, every iteration is like radically different from the one before it.
That is not true at all, because the past 3 shoes have basically been the same shoe,
like the unibody sock knit type thing,
which I love though. They're good shoes. So I got these ones, and then in my display is a LeBron over here, and this one's great, and this one is one of my favorite shoes, because it's got a tribute to the Command Force Airs that
that's great.
From White Men Can't Jump.
I love it. Yeah, I went through like a sneakerhead phase until I realized I'm never wearing any of these, and I just I can't collect stuff, and like I don't really.
I got hats, and I got sneakers, and I got records, so I got some collections going.
I have a collection of used inhalers. Here's my motivation for like accruing wealth is I want to have like a nice house that looks like I loan it out to let them film porn, like high-end porn in it. But I also want like a closet room that's not a sneaker closet, but it's literally just a t-shirt room with
Not
all
bad.
my fucking t-shirts, because I have literally hundreds of them, and they're all hanging like a museum room, like
No,
Batman's closet with a bunch of shitty black t-shirts.
that'd be badass. I'm into that. I'm totally into that.
And like a lot of acetate furniture, and then like a bathroom that has like a smaller room in it for the toilet. That's all I want.
I just want to see if I can find another pair of shoes. I just like showing them off.
Pool, like an infinity pool, would be nice.
Yeah.
Probably,
I gotta say, I like the condo life that I'm living. It's not that bad. I get you know, you have to interact with people a little more than I love, but it's also nice to have the pool and everything, and it's pretty affordable. These guys are just
Jordan threes or fours.
Fours
Oh,
and
nice.
purple. And
I look at that and I just think about how I'd spill coffee on those in seconds because they're white, like they're bright white sneakers.
It's definitely changed habits for me wearing these sneakers.
Yeah, for what you're spending on those, I would imagine you have to be a little mindful of it. I just buy like $65 pair of Vans, wear them into the ground, buy another pair.
Yeah, I was that way for a while, but this sneaker addiction got me, and then it got me through quarantine. So I went a little overboard during quarantine.
My wardrobe underwent a shift in the last 3 or 4 years, and a friend of mine who cannot be named characterized me in the funniest thing that anyone's ever said about me, where he just goes, "You look like a you dress like a school shooter at a pie eating contest." And I'm so bummed I can't credit this dude for it, because I literally almost had a fucking asthma attack when he told me.
That's fucking funny.
This was before the transformation, as it were, but I was like, it was a troublingly funny level of you know.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me and being on the Bill Squire show. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Go to the Instagram, and then you can get to all my other stuff from there. So Instagram at OkPANTS, OkPANTS, and I just try to have fun with you all over there, and I try to limit the amount of selfies. But you know,
hey, I say post them. All right,
but
man.
I'm real bad at moderation with that stuff, so whatever.
Fair. All right. Well, thanks so much, man.
Yeah, I'm here anytime you need me for whatever.
And coming up right now, we got this week's Instagram hottie, Cassandra from Fears Confection in Lakewood. Enjoy. All right. Hey, everybody. I am Bill Squire, and this is this week's Instagram hottie, Cassandra.
Hi.
I don't know how to say your maiden name.
Nobody does. It's okay.
And I'm going to take a shot at it, though.
Go for it.
Mahershala.
Yep, close enough.
Close enough?
Yeah, no, it's my shock. You just don't
My
pronounce
shock, okay.
any of it, yeah.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, exactly. A lot of consonants.
Many.
You think you'd learn being in Cleveland, where you see these names all the time, so you'd have some idea how to do it, but it's still just like you see it and you just go, M.
You're Polish.
Yes. Cassie M. And last name Fears, and you are the owner of Fears Confections.
Yay.
In Lakewood, a very good candy shop, and somewhat controversial.
Oh, all the time.
All the time. You guys have gotten into some arguments with some people.
A little bit.
I think the most famous one is the Trump poop emojis.
Yes, the Trump dumps of infamy, yeah.
Yeah, so when if you've never seen them, they look like the poop emoji, and they got Trump's hair on it in their candy, and they're cute, and people ordered them all over the country, and then trolls came after you
on
guys
Inauguration
hard.
Day. Nobody liked him anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, people went crazy. And what the biggest thing for me is when it comes to stuff like that is they're always calling everybody else a snowflake.
Oh my God, they're offended over a truffle.
A truffle.
Yeah, I got a bomb threat and death threats over a truffle with hair.
But not even real hair.
Them.
Yeah.
We still make them. We just don't advertise them very much.
Yeah. It gets weird. It gets and you're also not someone that really backs down.
No, but I have a panic attack the whole time.
Right. Well, I didn't say you didn't. I just said you don't really back down.
No,
but
I don't.
I know what it's like, because with my ex-wife, with her store, she did things that would rile people up, and then they they assemble the troops and they attack your Facebook page, and everyone's like, hey, we're just trying to make a living, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all it is. It's not, and it's
If you don't like it, don't buy it.
Right, exactly. Like,
It's not that hard.
but it's not. It's so hard for them to understand.
Right.
Especially when people don't have anything else to do.
Right.
When like that becomes their purpose.
People are really bored right now.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Not bored enough to really put my numbers up there, but maybe having you on here will get some shit stirred up and we'll get going. But
I'm good for stirring the shit.
Yeah,
Let's
but
do
things
it.
are going real great. So how was the? So let's talk about you opened a candy shop. How long ago was it?
We've been in business 10 years, but I had my first storefront in 2013.
Okay.
So about 7 years.
So 20, that's really awesome. So you've been doing it for 10, storefront for 7, which is really impressive because I think it's a cute little shop. I would stop in there from coffee and Star Wars candy from time to time. I used to live like right around the corner from it, and I haven't been over in a bit, so I need to get back over there.
Well, nobody has.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. But I mean, I'm talking like 2 or 3 years since I've been there.
I remember one of the summer markets, I think, was the last time I saw you. Yeah.
I think I was just walking by. So anyway, you've been doing that, and you have some really successful products, and you make all the candy yourself, and so you spend all day just making candy and selling it, and it's a really cool business.
Thanks.
What made you want to get into the candy business?
I don't know. I lost my job back in 2009, and finding a new job was not easy.
I got
getting a visitor. Oh no, you got the bone.
I got the bone stuck under.
The bone.
It's stuck on my wheel.
Oh, it is. Oh.
All right, teamwork. There we go.
Teamwork.
Teamwork.
We got you, Whoopsie. We got you.
All right, now she might actually. This might be a better Whoopsie episode because you might actually just chew on that for a bit.
There's been no barking.
No, so far.
So far.
So far, that's kind of a. It's.
Quit eating my dress.
I've just accepted that it's going to be part of the show.
It's like having kids. It's fine.
Yeah. So you have. What made you want to get into candy? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was an engineer. I lost my job, and I looked for one for a long time. I hear you. Hi.
I know. She found a whole new way to disrupt the podcast.
Banging
She's
the
like,
head
oh,
under
I'll just bang
the
my
table.
head on the. Here, you come over here and just chew on that and lay down. So you were an engineer.
Yeah, and
what kind of engineer?
I was a fiber optic networking engineer.
Okay,
so I would
and
design.
obviously, like, that's a dead end market. It's like coal. They're not using that stuff at all.
They just outsourced it all, and I trained all my
Okay.
replacements. So
Oh, that's a fucking piece of shit move.
It was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good time. But yeah, so I looked for a job for a long time, and I did other stuff in the interim. But I started doing it out of my house, and eventually had an offer.
When did you realize, like, oh shit, I can make this my living?
When I was watching, when I got a storefront and took a leap because I really didn't think
You didn't think it was going to be able to make
no,
it,
no.
But you guys, I mean, 7 years is nothing to sneeze at. That's pretty impressive.
No, we've made it over the theoretical like failure hump.
That's awesome.
So if we can survive a pandemic, I think hopefully we'll be okay.
I mean, time will tell. We'll see how this fucking pandemic goes. So you got into the thing. What's your favorite candy that you've ever made outside the Trump Dump?
My personal favorite is our sponge candy.
Okay.
It's a weird thing that they have in Buffalo, California. You can get it in like Canada and England and stuff, but it's all different names.
Before.
But it's weird because people around here, unless they've had it somewhere else, people have no idea what it is, and I have like a cult following now. It's one of our most bestseller products.
That's awesome. So that's cool, and I imagine they're making it at Mally's.
No, they're not.
So you got the market
I've cornered the market.
So explain what it's like. A sponge cake dipped in chocolate.
It's actually it's crispy and crunchy a little bit. It's just like if you took a brittle and you put air pockets in it and kind of puffed up a brittle and then dip it in chocolate. So it's like crispy, flaky, melty in your mouth.
Maybe I haven't had that. I thought it was more of like a I'd have to try one.
Now, guess what? Hey, there's one in your bag.
Yeah, I'm excited. Diet starts next pandemic.
There you go. Mine too.
Yeah. How tough is it to stay out of the food?
Not.
Like I mean, I'm
so
eating
tired
it.
of
You're
it.
so tired of it. You're just like, I'm
it.
fucking over sweets.
I'm so fucking over sweets.
Just
yeah.
Give me a steak or whatever.
No.
Well,
yeah.
you're not
no. Give me steak.
Yeah.
Give me pizza. Give me anything.
Anything that's not sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or ice cream. That I'll take. So.
Ice cream is fucking good. What's your favorite ice cream?
Oh, I've been just eating Mitchell's sundaes like it's my job. Chocolate peanut butter ice cream, but
I love the Mitchell's blackberry crumble.
Oh, that's a good one too.
That's
a
my
really good one too.
go-to shit. And then I love Ben and Jerry stuff. The cheesecake,
New York style super fudge chunk.
Ooh, the strawberry cheesecake one, and then peanut butter one, then Americone Dream. Like, there's so many.
There's so many good
I can
ones.
literally just reach in and grab whatever it is, and I'll be like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Pretty much any of it.
I'm pretty on board with all of all the Ben and Jerry stuff. So you also have a husband, and that's where you get your name. And then you also kind of we kind of became friends over some burlesque stuff. Were you a burlesque dancer?
I have performed 2 times.
2 times, okay.
Yeah, I just sell chocolate primarily over there, but I've performed 2 times now, and
what do you think of that?
I enjoy it. It's weird. I'm not
It's a thrill.
as much of an out there person as I am. I'm not a well. Today is a little different.
She did this just for us. She's like, I'm gonna wear a mask, and but don't worry, you'll be distracted. You won't even notice the mask.
Mask up, tits out.
Yeah,
is
mask
my
on,
new
tits out. That's a great
my
motto.
new theme now. So
honestly, I think that's what we need for the whole country, because if it's like, okay, in guys, like, if you want the ladies to, you got to wear a mask.
Wear a mask,
and then they'll wear their boobs out more.
Yeah.
Is that a trade-off?
We'll even coordinate mask,
yeah, look
dress,
at that.
boobs right here.
Yeah, mask and the dress. Did you make this dress?
No, a friend of mine did, who owns Bad Doll Studio. I'll plug her because she's the shit. But she made the mask and the dress, so she's a local. Hey,
that's my Paul George shoebox. All right, so what were we talking about? I think tits.
Boobs.
Yes, tits.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think you're the first guest I've had on that has bigger boobs than me.
Yeah.
Well, at least in studio.
I didn't used to, but I've put on 50 pounds, so that's the only bonus right here.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
I wouldn't have noticed, but I guess I didn't really pay attention to your boobs as much back when we hung out more. But
I
they look great.
I probably didn't sport them quite as heavily as I do right now.
Well, I appreciate it. It's nice. I'm a big fan of cleavage. Yeah,
I do what I can.
You know, in these unprecedented times, we need anything we can to put a smile on our face.
Together.
Yes, we could all fit in those together. This is not how I'm usually so professional, and now I'm like, ooh.
I asked how professional you are because I'm not.
I
can pretend to be.
No, it's fine. So. We're having a good time.
Okay.
So you've been you did a little bit of burlesque. What was your song that you danced
Pure
to?
Imagination from Willy Wonka.
Oh, really?
My stage name is Fonda Sweets.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
I had the top hat and the gold lame bow and the purple
Oh
jacket.
my God, that's so fucking fun.
Yeah.
That's honestly, like, of course I like naked women, but anything that like ties in like that is just really fun when it comes to burlesque. And one of my favorite burlesque performances was, God, I can't remember. It was a drag. It wasn't even burlesque, but it was a drag performance. But it was this performer that did the whole like. What was her name? It was the Christmas song where it all goes wrong, and I post it every year around Christmas.
I feel like I know what you're
Gladys Knight.
Oh, okay.
So it's Gladys Knight, and she's like, "Where are my background singers?" I don't know the words to the song. Like it's a train wreck, and it's so funny. And this performer did the entire routine to that audio.
That's fantastic.
And like nobody knew what was going on except for me, and so I'm fucking dying laughing. I'm like, you guys don't have any idea how fucking funny this is, but it's so like it's this amazing moment in time where it was the National Christmas tree lighting ceremony, and it was a shit show. It was back with like President Clinton, I think his second term or something like that, and it's just this shit show of a performance. She saved it. She did great, but he couldn't. It was just really. It was just it's you got to watch it. Just I'm pretty sure it's.
Find it.
I'm pretty sure it's Gladys Knight, but it might be. It's one of those ladies, one of those old like soul singers.
Okay. I will have to look for that.
Aretha Franklin, one of them.
I'm like familiar-ish with the song.
Yeah,
but...
I don't have my phone. My phone's doing the recording, so I can't look it up right now. But just do the search and you'll find it and watch it. It's on. I post it every Christmas because it's my favorite thing.
Okay.
Like that's like I get excited for
surprised
Christmas
I haven't
for
seen
that.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you also got some kids. How is quarantine with kids? How old are they now?
5 and 8.
Jeez, that's a tough time.
They're not like babies, but they're old enough
bored.
to want to do shit.
Yeah,
and they're not
bored.
allowed to do anything. So far they visited each set of grandparents a little bit, and that's like all we've let them do. So
really? Oh, they gotta be losing their minds.
Yeah. My parents live out of state. They live in New York, where we're banned from. Sorry, we're banned from.
Yeah, we got kicked out of New York. I was trying to set up some trips out there to Jamestown to the Comedy Museum, and then that's all shut down.
Yeah, I'm really glad my kids went a couple weeks ago because they wouldn't be allowed to go, and we got a week of reprieve after months of just 2 kids being like, Rah!
Right. That must have been a godsend. There it is. There it is. All right. Well, like I said, this is a pretty quick little interview today. Whoopsie's getting antsy. Where can people find your shop, and how can they, like, if they're not from the area, because I have listeners all over the country, how can they, like, the website, the Facebook page, Instagram, all that stuff?
Yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram under Fears Confections. Instagram is Fears Confection because it's annoying. We're at fearsconfections.com. You can order online and have it shipped. You can order online and actually do it for a pickup. And right now, due to the pandemic, we're open only on Saturdays from noon to 5 at the moment. Unless you have like a special catering order, we'll make arrangements for that. But 1 day a week, super fun.
1 day a week they come in, but you're shipping all the time.
We'll been shipping for 10 years.
Yeah. Okay.
And
all right.
We're usually open 5 days a week, but that's not a thing.
All right.
And I brought you goodies.
Yeah, go through the goodies. What do we got here?
Cool.
We'll talk about those real quick.
Well, I will let you touch the stuff.
She's got the pin up on here.
I do. Me as a
which
cartoon.
I like that.
So in there is a Cleveland bar.
Okay.
That is actually etched with a local artist did a rendering of Cleveland. It's on there.
That's very cool.
There's a sponge candy in there for you.
Okay.
And
I'm actually going to eat this live
and
on
a Millennium
the show.
Falcon. And I forget, there's something else.
So this is the sponge candy?
That's the sponge candy.
All right, I'm going to try this right now.
Be loud.
Oh, it is real crunchy.
I like watching people try it for the first time. Sorry.
It's
an explosion.
You knew it was going to happen, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's really good, though.
Thanks.
It's really good.
And then every weekend we've been doing something different. Last weekend was fruit tarts, and the weekend before, I love you, Whoopsie, but no. But this is blueberry buckle. You're getting the inaugural piece. That's Saturday's special for this week, which won't matter on this podcast, but we might have it back again.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This is great. That sponge candy is really good. You got another.
Sorry, now you gotta get out the vacuum cleaner. But
I'm in the cult now. Well, I think she can eat the middle stuff.
The middle stuff is just pretty much mostly sugar.
Yeah.
The chocolate is what's not
good for dogs. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming by. I had a great time. I'll be getting some more of that sponge cake, and then I can't wait to try this. I'm gonna have that with maybe for my dessert tonight.
I was gonna say it's a good breakfast with coffee too.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. So.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming by.
This is the Bill Squire Show.